it should be recording. So
far, Sasha gave us an update on Cheat Code Africa, and Sergio covered how you guys are getting your local Kubernetes environments set up for the cataloging project.
perfect. And so it seems like Sergio, the kind install seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah, I read that and I tried and it's nice. So I am just updating this local with kind 2, just like checking if there is a minikube or a kind in the environment and work with from there. I'm going to have this option for minikube too, because I don't know, somebody can maybe just don't want to or cannot have running Docker, and he on another side can run virtual machines. So I just going to put the both. So perfect. At the end, I just need a kubectl, so it's not that important. So yeah, I'm trying with both.
Perfect.
So is there anybody else on who may not be working on that that project who's trying to get that local environment set up with kind that wants to? This would be a good time to get those environments set up.
Yeah, and so what the next step that we're going to be working on is getting the microservices deployed. Now that we have them deployed to the local environment, we'll deploy them over to Azure. So the next step will be to create the Helm charts, and I will put in, there's a repo that I've been working with that has some of the Helm charts already out there and some of the next steps. It's the app, envita app, I believe it is. Let me double check. I'll put the link in. Let me just double check to make sure this is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. So it is this repo. Where's chat?
Can I ask a question just now about kind?
Yes, you can.
So does kind basically replace the need for minikube? Do I understand that correctly? You just need Docker, or do you still need minikube?
You just need Docker.
You just need Docker?
Yeah, so kind is comes from the Kubernetes SIG, and it's Kubernetes in Docker, essentially. So as opposed to minikube, where it brings up the VMs and then deploys it inside that, it brings up a control plane container image and a node container image, or arbitrary number of nodes, depending on how many you want. And it just runs them as lightweight Docker containers.
That is so genius. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah, and it's cool because you can have like multi-cluster, or well, you can add
exactly.
Yeah, and minikube is more limited.
And minikube is so resource intensive. Yeah.
Now, the one thing I did find that we ran into yesterday was the way kind works is there's really no entry point into the cluster. You have to poke a hole through a port. So that's where I sent out the cluster config file that basically what you're doing is you're telling this, exposing the node port to an external port on the host side. So it was a little bit weird because when I usually deal with the cloud provider, so that part is taken care of when you create a node port on the cloud side. But here you have to do the little extra config to expose basically Docker, the internal Docker network to the outside through a port. You can think of it as kind of like as a firewall world. So that's what it has to, that's what the change was that we got tripped up on yesterday.
I thought that was something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I had to drop. It was one of the things I meant to mention, but we went live last Friday, so my week has been fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's really cool seeing stuff growing in Paris via me peeking on the cameras. But
Nice.
Anyway, what I was going to say was, Sergio, once you've got those scripts up, and this kind of relates to the issue which was seen with node port, there's a tool called Scaffold, which is pretty good. Comes out of comes out of Google. I don't know if it's one of their officially supported things. Scaffold and Kind and Helm play beautifully together, and Scaffold will automatically handle exposing the node ports for a Kind cluster. If you have your Helm config, it will handle that. So the notes I'm writing up on the local dev environment, once I can see those scripts, Sergio, I'll kind of glue this all together. It's the same thing we're using for the local dev stacks at IGS. Works pretty well, and I'll add some notes on how that can all play nicely.
Oh, there was one question I had. So for this solution, in your service, I think it was in the service YAML, you had to expose the node port and give it a hard-coded node port value. So like when we deploy over to Azure, we don't worry about, we have node ports, but we don't assign the port number. We just let them be dynamically assigned. Is there going to be a problem if we have multiple containers running with the same node port, or do they have to be unique across all containers in the cluster?
So they don't need to be unique within the cluster. The way that it will need to be unique as far as the mapping of that port on the host side will need to be unique. So similar with kubectl port forward. So you won't be able to have no port conflict or port conflicts on your host, but within the cluster you can have multiple services running on the same port.
Okay. All right. That's what I wasn't sure about. Because what I was more concerned about is if we have like multiple people using the same node port for local development, and then when we go to roll it out to a cluster, a cloud cluster, that we'd have to go in and take that out or make it unique in some way.
Yeah, so I'll once I look at the couple of scripts, I'll put a couple of notes around that, because with if we end up going with the Scaffold route or with some of the config on Kind, we can expose the service DNS entry, essentially, as opposed to it. So you'll be able to route to it via that, or the endpoint entry, depending on how the SDN is configured. So we've got a couple of options for that to avoid people needing to do the node port, exposing the node port directly. They'll be able to route to it by the name.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Just want to make sure that we're being flexible and not have to like rework something.
On my case, I'm trying to have like separate folders depending on what environment you're going to be working. That's you mentioned, Owen, is great, because I was working on like my opinion is the same. It's a little complicated to do the explosion and local environment, and that you mentioned sounds great, because I just want to, at the end of the installation and adding Ortelius and Istio, you have a nice URL just to click on that and not having to take care about all that configuration. Well, for some the cloud, yeah, for sure, we need to have a folder for every.
What I'll probably do is let a.
You just want to mute on.
Oh God, I hit the space bar without realizing. I was tapping my thumb on my mouse pad on my laptop pad, and I didn't mean to hit the space bar. What I'll probably do is, once I've looked at the scripts, I'll share the notes as a gist on the open issue we've got for the local dev environment. Just going to share that as a kind of draft format so people can have a scan through. I'll make a mention in the Discord when that's there. And then we can kind of try that out, figure it out, and then roll that into the docs, potentially for Ortelius docs, and maybe a blog post about the local dev stack as well.
Perfect. And just to, the Sergio and I were talking the other day, and it looks like we're going to put a lot of this, the scripts and kind of in the contrib repo, just so that, and we're not going to get fancy with, bunch of pull requests or anything like that. We're going to make it pretty open for the contributor repo, just make it easier for people to, if they find something, push it up there, and we just have a place to kind of stash stuff.
Sounds awesome.
Okay. It's going to be a mess for the beginning, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh, on that note, I'm going to rename some of the from master to main on the repos probably over the weekend, just so we are being consistent with what GitHub's doing going forward. So it shouldn't affect too many people. It'll mostly affect the cloud build side, because it looks at some of the triggers are looking at master versus main, but I'll get that changed over. So just FYI, that's going to happen. I'm going to target it for this weekend. Everything local, since you forked, should be fine. You won't have any issues on your side. And I put in the chat a link to the repo that I've been working on. It has basically the next step that we need to do for the She Codes Africa, and also like Aisha will be doing something similar. But what it is it's the basically it's the Python Flask with some SQL code in it that actually connects up to our database and starts doing some queries at that level. So like I said, I like to take these in progressions. So that's going to be kind of the next step as part of that process. Karam, just to let you know, on the code on the Cyclone DX, I think I'm going to been playing around with the kind of like the cloud build process, and I think we're going to have to change it up a little bit. So it's going to be acting more like Trivy, where we'll actually scan an image that's been completed versus inserting the Cyclone DX into the build step. So I think we're going to probably need some, it looks like probably like a Golang program that will actually spin up the Docker image, find an entry point, install the Cyclone into that, and then go ahead and run the Cyclone DX, get the JSON file, and then we could pull the JSON file out of that image and tear it down. That container. So I think we're gonna have to change that up. I'll create an issue around that, but it is just the way where I was trying to pull things together and being consistent. Looks like that's the way we're gonna have to go, is make it act more like Trivy.
Okay, so like why are we going around this way?
Because there is no way to get the file that we create out of the built image without actually executing or running the image.
Okay.
And the second thing is to be consistent, like the Trivy and some of the other scanning tools.
All right.
Because what we'll be doing, what it'll enable us to do is to interact with the an immutable image and just add on the scanning tools, scan what's already in the image, that's basically the immutable part, and grab what we need out of it, and then push it over to Ortelius. So I think it'll simplify the steps for end users.
Right.
So I will put together an issue on that front to what we need to do, because there's a couple little things that we need, like to install the Cyclone DX in the image. Some it's not the Golang program's not going to be super huge, but it does have a couple steps that we're going to have to kind of figure out. So on do we want to do another stand-up on Monday to keep track of everybody's where we're at? It's kind of my plan, but I just want to make sure that I'm not overburdening everybody with meetings.
Fine with me.
Yeah, and I think it should be clear that that's not, you don't have to, that's not a required meeting of any of these meetings are required. It's just one that, you know, that Steve's there if you want to reach out to him. It's a, it's really Steve's standing meeting. And if somebody shows up to ask questions, he's there to answer them.
Okay.
Hopefully you won't still think it's Sunday.
Well, it actually worked better. My Sunday's open and my Monday's pretty busy. So
Sunday's open. Lucky you. I'm jealous.
well, at least for
Yeah,
the work
poor Owen.
calendar. I have a long list of another to-do list other than
I know the feeling. I still haven't painted any of the walls I've needed to paint since December. So yeah. I've just very quickly, if I've pinged a gist to my updated Golang makefile, which spent this time tweaking over the weekend. So it's got linters and a couple other hooks in there, as well as cross-platform binary builds and the ability to integrate with a Docker file. So it might be useful if folk are looking at the Golang side, just as a starting point to put in some basic quality checks.
yeah, let me look at this. Perfect.
Looks nice. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
And always, and feel free to ping me on that issue if there's any questions or anything else I can help out with on that one.
Yeah, I'll write it up and we'll go from there. I just need to get the issue out there. Just what I've been kind of mulling over the last week. So I think that's the route we're going to go. I'm going to throw it out there, write it down. And usually when I start writing things down, things change. You run into a roadblock or something that we got to work around. So we'll see what happens.
So just before I lose everybody, we have some new people on the call. Let's see. I see. Atul, do you want to introduce yourself? Atul is just getting out of school. Don't be shy. Atul.
Yeah, okay.
There he is.
Hi, all of you. I mean, there are so many people here, and they have a huge amount of knowledge. And I'm just here to see how I can learn and how I can contribute to this product. That's all.
Great.
Yeah.
And what's your handle on the Discord channel?
So it's ATLTVRI.
Okay.
Let me share the social networking sheet for the people who are new. Quickly, social media handles. So
and who
be
else
sure
do we
you
have?
update your info on this. You don't have to, there's no email required, but if you want us to follow you on Twitter or LinkedIn, and if you have a handle that we need to know who you are on Discord or GitHub, just add your name and your info there. And then is there somebody on here as CDF Jenkins Zoom?
Sorry, what?
There's somebody that's listed. See, there's a guest, a CDF Jenkins Zoom. Trying to figure out who that might be. Is there somebody?
It's me.
Who is this?
This is my first time to join the meeting. I just want to listen the meeting.
Oh, no problem.
Great. Well, welcome. Glad that you're coming in and listening to see what we're doing. You know, we appreciate the Jenkins crowd because you guys have already done so much. Some of the Jenkins folks have been great mentors in getting this project started.
Yes, sorry about the the account. I forgot to log out the CDF account.
That's okay.
No big deal.
And then Suleiman, I know you're not new, but did we ever get a proper introduction in Suyash as well?
Yes.
I did my introduction when we joined with Steve
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Sasha, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
is-
you did. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And then one last thing, we do have we have our May 20th event happening, and we need some volunteers to do some work on presentations. Here is and I'm trying to get this done in the next 5 days, at least to get some names assigned to the presentations so we can start social networking them. Let me go back here. And Karam, Sasha it wants to do a presentation on observability and visibility, which is, kind of like the blog that you wrote. And what we're doing is we're going to have, we want to have 2 people for each presentation, one person being sort of the host and the person who does the introduction and helps with the topic and helps get the information together. Would you volunteer to sort of mentor Sasha through that?
Sure.
Thank you, Karam.
So let me share this. Okay, did I put it out there? Is that
Yep.
it? Okay, so take a look at that real quick. Just get, I will put Karam as hosting. So we have one session defined. We'd have Sergio is going to do the pitfalls of monolithic practices. Is there anybody on here who would like to learn about the pitfalls, who wants to be a host on this particular talk? Which means that you're going to have to be around to do the record. Either myself or Garima will actually do the recording. We'll just schedule a time. We won't be in front facing. You will be front facing. You will be introducing Sergio and the kind of the topic and the problem space, and then Sergio will be doing the presentation. That's kind of the role of the host. I'm trying to give everybody a chance to participate in this.
And it's all recorded and it all gets edited, so you can't screw it up.
No. The other one that needs a presenter is the domain-driven design. So if any of you are into understanding service-oriented architecture and what a domain-driven design is, this would be the one to take on. And then the final, and then this one is know your blast radius, which is about how we can show dependencies for understanding if a microservice is going to impact more than one application or needs to be deployed out across multiple namespaces and clusters. And then the GitOps one is going to be a panel. So if you want to be on this panel, just put your name. We'll have Steve as we'll have me doing the hosting and Steve will be kind of helping drive questions. So we need another like 3 people in this one. If you're interested in being on a panel. And what I want to do is get these together so we can start social networking them, and we'll have to record them probably around I'm guessing the 2nd week of May. So you have a little bit of time you got about 3 weeks to pull the presentation together. Christopher, would you consider doing one of something in this area of this blast radius?
I thought that the GitOps panel would probably be the best place for me out of all the stuff you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put you down. Oops. Oh, geez, I just deleted that. Okay. And So we need someone to do domain-driven design, host Sergio, and know your blast radius. So we're getting close to getting the spots filled up. Any other takers on here? And if you're new and you don't, yes, Aditi.
I would be interested in microservice architecture, but I think there's a lot to me to understand this, as I'm not very much aware from microservice architecture. So you can put my name in presenting. I would like to learn about it more.
Yeah. So which one you want to do? The
microservice architecture.
implementing the domain-driven design. Excellent. That's a really good one to do. And I'm happy to help on any of this stuff. And we have blogs already that cover some of this stuff. So
yeah, that's why I'm doing it also, because I want to know more. So I'm seeing this opportunity to try and learn more about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't talk a lot of rubbish, but I'm sure you'll call me out.
Well, this is the exercise. The exercise
exactly.
is so that we're all learning and we're kind of cross-pollinating here. That's why I want to have a host and a presenter. And you're getting used to doing presentations, because a lot of us don't have a lot of opportunity to do so. And to present, like even at CDF or KubeCon, there's a lot of people and you just don't get the experience. So it's trying to solve two problems. One, give everybody experience presenting, and kind of force us to learn some get some new information in under our belt.
I'm so sorry, I got disconnected. If you were saying something else.
No, we just said that was. So I put you down as presenting. We'll find a host for you. And if we don't have people stepping up for the host, I will take them on. I'm just trying to kind of mix and match people.
That one may, you may reach out to Aisha on that one as a host.
Okay. Or for the domain-driven design.
The one that Aditi's working on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the domain-driven design. I'm kind of hoping I can get Aisha to do the present, know your blast radius. And then our folks from the ladies from She Code Africa, would like to get them in this as well. So ask them about it when you talk to them.
I know Mooney's on.
Oh, Mooney just.
She just renamed.
Okay.
I know that's the hard part with Zoom and the Discord. Everybody has different names that they come in as, so it's confusing who's who sometimes.
Yes.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I had issues with my system. I just had to join my phone, so it brought up another name.
So, Mooney, do you does this She Code Africa team want to take on one of these topics or be a host?
Yeah, well, I haven't discussed with the other lady, but I think that we should be able to take up one of it.
Great. I think know your blast radius is it's not that hard of a topic. It's all about dependencies. So I would encourage you guys to take that one on. One of you present and one of you host, and I'll be happy to help you with the technical information.
All right. Dependencies. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, know your blast radius around dependencies, and we'll help you.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just put the two of you. We'll figure out which one of you are going to do what. All right.
We still have to go back, so we'll get back to you.
Yeah, I'll shoot you over I just got finished writing a blog on it. So I think that you can actually do the presentation right off the blog.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That's what I needed for now.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
It's Friday, so I'm gonna go celebrate.
Yeah, you do. I don't know where
It's not Friday, Steve.
I get 2 Fridays this week.
It's not Friday.
If you could come to South Africa,
Oh,
you
wow,
would be
so
in
far.
Friday already.
I'm going to change my Thursday to Steve Fridays.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.